Have you ever wondered why some leaders inspire trust, respect, and others are struggling to gain any kind of foothold to connect with people at all? Oftentimes, the answer lies in this one tool, which is called a leadership philosophy. For me, using this one tool was one of the most transformative steps that I could have ever taken in my leadership journey. It has changed me forever. In this video, I'm going to share with you my leadership philosophy. I'm going to talk about why I developed it. I'm going to tell you how it changed me. And I'm also going to give you some examples of real life industry leaders that have their own philosophy and how it's helped their organizations in big ways. Let's get into the video and make sure you watch to the end so you don't miss a single key point. So why does a leadership philosophy even matter at all? Well, there's 4 key points and 2 of them are going to tie together. The first one is clarity. A leadership philosophy brings clarity to your values, to your priorities. It acts as a guide to your decision making. It can really become a compass when you face hard times and difficult paths that you're trying to navigate. The leadership philosophy will act as a guide for you in times of uncertainty when maybe the road ahead seems pretty dark and you're not quite sure where to go from here. You can lean back on this philosophy and remember what your values are and what really drives you. Number 2/3. A leadership philosophy inspires trust and shows your authenticity. People are drawn to people who are transparent, who are authentic, who just show what they stand for in everything they do, through how they communicate, through how they work, through who they are as a whole. A clearly defined and visible leadership philosophy inspires others to see you as credible and to trust you because you're being authentic, you are being transparent. You're basically showing your heart on your sleeve, in a manner of words. You are revealing your character to others at a glance. They say that within the first 12 seconds of a person meeting you, they've already made their mind up on how they feel about you. So if they can't see you physically, they can get to know you through a philosophy that you display for all to see. Now, it's really important that you hold true to what you speak, because as the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And if this is true, then I would say an action is worth 1,000,000 words. So you could say 1,000,000 different words, but if your actions don't follow through, you don't practice what you preach, it doesn't matter what you say to people. They're going to look at what you do and look at your behavior before they look at your words. Or they're going to look at your behavior and see that and look through your words and see that your words, if they match, are true and that they can trust you. And if they don't, that you're not credible and they cannot trust you. So it's important to practice what you preach. Number 4, consistency. Leadership is oftentimes about just showing up the same way and being consistent. If you don't have a clearly defined philosophy, when the craziness of life hits you, you might find yourself wavering from a path that you thought you were walking. And maybe you think you're still walking that path, but in reality, you're actually veering off to the side. Maybe you're taking the easy path instead of the one that's straight and narrow and a little bit more difficult. You're taking the wider path that's a little easier to walk, but it doesn't really align with who you've told people that you are. So you want to be very careful to stay consistent. And if you have a clearly defined leadership philosophy, again, you can use it as a reference point of your core values to help you to stay consistent in what you preach, to help you practice consistently what you preach. So this is why it's really important to define your leadership philosophy. When I was going through my bachelor's program, part of it was designing a leadership philosophy, and it wasn't just an exercise in reflection. I took it as something to define to others who I am. So I just want to take a moment and read to you my personal leadership philosophy. So I've got my leadership philosophy framed here. You don't have to go this far. You don't even have to have a full page like I do. Mine is like this because I wanted it to be detailed, but also concise enough that people would be willing to read it. So that's why it's one page. I recommend having a list of statements like this, but not everyone does. So let's get into it. I believe that leadership has a positive and negative impact. I believe that a leader is first a good follower. Leaders must be the example of who they want others to be. Leadership without integrity is like a cracked pot. It can hold liquid, but it will always leak. I must be clear in my expectations of others so there is no confusion. I must have passion for all that I do. If I'm not sold out, how can my followers be? I desire to have the wisdom of Solomon so that I can teach others how to apply their intelligence. Encouraging others to grow and be self-sufficient is more important to me than having control. I take the time to reflect on who I am as a leader and how effective my techniques are. I don't need to receive credit to know that I'm successful. I am only successful when my followers become the best they can be. I must constantly dream for the future. I must plan for every contingency to the best of my abilities. I must hope for the best outcome in every situation. I give people the benefit of the doubt. Above all else, everything I do must help people. The people business is the hardest business, but it's also the most important. So now I think you can kind of see my heart and where I lie on my beliefs about leadership, my beliefs on who I am, but it's also my beliefs on who I should be. Maybe some of these I don't live up to every single day, and nor could anyone. I mean, it's an ideal state to be able to live every single tenet of your philosophy every single day. But what's more important is that you know your philosophy, and it's a point where you can continuously learn and continuously grow and never become stagnant. So the statements in your philosophy should be ambiguous enough to sound kind of like a vision statement where it's a lofty goal, but also something that you can actually live out, something you can actually attain. And it's not about living every tenet at the same time, but it's about striving to be complete and striving for perfection and striving to live all the tenets of your philosophy so that you can be a well-rounded individual. So now let's look at how a leadership philosophy like that can transform leadership. What happens when you lead with a clear leadership philosophy? Number one, I believe you're going to have stronger organizational connections. and a better organizational culture. Your philosophy has, depending on where you're at in your organization, if you're the entrepreneur at the top, if you're the small business owner at the top, this is really important for you. So make sure you really pay attention. But your philosophy, whether you verbally communicate it, whether you display it on a wall, you frame it like I did or not, it will directly influence your teams, your organization, and the greater organizational culture. Again, people are going to look at your actions, and your actions, whether you speak it or not, will reflect your true beliefs, your true core values. So if you want to make sure that people see you for who you truly are, write it down, live it out. Number 2, it can help you with effective decision making. When tough decisions arise, your philosophy, again, it's a compass. It's like a guiding light. It will direct you to the right decision. One thing that I have in my philosophy is that I give people the benefit of the doubt. A lot of times it's a mental model for me, especially where I'm currently working, to believe that people have their own best interests at heart, but I've got to give people the benefit of the doubt. So I've got to look at this constantly and say, okay, give them the benefit of the doubt, John. They deserve the benefit of the doubt. Not everyone is going to think that way. So it's kind of like the justice system. They are innocent until proven guilty. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them a chance. I faced quite a few moments where a lot of the tenets in my philosophy have brought clarity to a decision I needed to make in order to progress a team I was working with or a team I was leading. When I remembered my philosophy and my core values, it helped me to guide the team in a positive direction and actually see success. A leadership philosophy can also be a great inspiration for other people. It's not just about personal growth. Sometimes your philosophy, as you live it out, will help others to grow. It will inspire them to want to change, to want to be better. Your leadership philosophy can inspire greater change than even just an immediate little work group that you're part of. You could have a great impact. So now let's take a look at some industry leaders who live out their philosophy. And this is just going to be brief, but let's take a look. So Satya Nadella, hopefully I pronounced the names right. The philosophy is empathy and a growth mindset. And the impact of this was Satya revitalized Microsoft as the CEO of Microsoft and fostered innovation and teamwork and helped Microsoft to grow in their market share. Howard Schultz of Starbucks, philosophy to serve people before profits. The impact of this was he was able to build Starbucks into a global, international brand with a focus on community and employee welfare. And finally, Indra Nooyi of PepsiCo. The philosophy, performance with purpose. And the impact, Indra drove sustainable growth while prioritizing environmental and social responsibility. For big corporations, corporate social responsibility is pretty important. So those are just brief looks. You can look at these people a little bit more in depth for yourself, or if you want, we can have a video and we can talk about it. And really quick, if you are liking this video, you're liking my content, please feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, set it to all so you don't miss a single video that I put out. I am here to help entrepreneurs and small business owners to succeed and to have actionable strategies for growth and future success. And I am working on getting my business founded, setting up my website, and setting up my coaching program so that I can help people with their major problems and help them to define strategy. Stay tuned for that so that you can be up to date on when that comes out. So now let's talk about my journey in crafting my leadership philosophy. Why did I decide to write it down? Why did I develop my own? Because I realized early on, now it was part of a school project, but I realized early on how important this truly was. That I realized without this philosophy that I would be driving without a map or even a GPS. I would have no idea where I was going. I would have no idea how to craft a vision for myself because I didn't even know my own core values. I didn't know what I believed. I didn't know what my morals really were. I hadn't sat down and defined them. But after I did this, I got sense of who I was. So crafting a philosophy like this can actually teach you a lot about yourself. So the key components I've tried to capture in my philosophy are: 1, authenticity, being true to myself, being transparent with anyone who reads it, and trying to actually live out those actions. 2, empowerment. I want people to know that my mission in life is to help them, anyone, unlock their potential. I see a vision of everyone unlocking their true potential and becoming the greatest that they can be, and taking their organizations and leading other people to being at that level as well. 3, resilience, facing challenges with strength and also adaptability. I want people to know that I understand how hard it is to be a leader, to be somebody who wants to direct other people towards success. And number 4, it grounds me. So it guides me, but it also grounds me. When my vision gets too lofty, because sometimes that does happen to us if we're being honest with ourselves, when my ideas get too big for me to swallow, my eyes are too big for my stomach, in my mom used to say when I was eating as a kid, that leadership philosophy helps me to stay grounded and remember my core values and remember my end goal, remember my purpose, remember who I am. Again, it's a visual that's not just for others, it's for me to remind myself and to live out every single day. So if you haven't taken the time to develop a leadership philosophy, I want to encourage you to do that right now. I read mine to you. You can use it as a bit of a framework. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be eloquent. It just has to be real. It has to be you. It has to reflect who you are and who you want to be. A leadership philosophy is more than just words on paper. It's the cornerstone of great leadership and the foundation of every action that you take. It provides clarity to others, inspires trust and credibility. It builds a lasting impact that you could potentially see for generations after you. Your children, your grandchildren, the people around you and their families. The impact can spread. So now it's your turn. Take a few moments, reflect on what matters to you most, reflect on your core values, your morals, your beliefs, and what drives you as a leader. And if you're ready to dive deeper, I'm in the process of developing, again, my business and my website, and in it, I will have a tailored leadership style assessment so you can learn your natural leadership style and get some practical advice on how to use your leadership style, but also how to grow and stretch yourself beyond with what you're comfortable, just a little bit. And if you found this video helpful, don't miss the previous video where I talk about 5 actionable strategies that will help you succeed in 2025 at business. I'm going to link it here at the end screen. You don't want to miss it. Thank you for watching my video. Go ahead and check out the other one. I'll see you there.